much, Dennis. Well, on Tuesday, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly issued a new emergency declaration regarding how the state's handling the coronavirus. Governor Kelly says local officials will decide what happens next in the reopening process in their communities. The governor is hoping that city leaders will use her Ad Astra reopening plan as guidance moving forward. And with counties carrying the power of their own decisions now, what are leaders in Johnson County planning? KMBC9's Martin Augustine live this morning. Now, Martin, what can people in Johnson County expect moving forward?
Rob, Johnson County leadership is going to stick very close to Governor Kelly's plan to reopen the economy, even though in an earlier phase of her plan, the county kept in place some more restrictive measures than what was going on in the rest of the state. But as for now, the county says it will not put into place any additional limits beyond what the governor recommends. But in a statement, the county says it will strongly recommend that Johnson County residents and businesses adhere to that step-by-step approach of Governor Kelly's Ad Astra plan to reopen the economy and not get out ahead of it, and to continue the physical distancing, wearing masks when you can't do that, and continue to frequently wash hands and other bits of hygiene to ward off the spread of the virus. We should point out that some decisions that have been made, such as Overland Park's decision to close its swimming pools for the summer, pools such as the Marty Pool here at 70th and Contra, those decisions aren't going to change, even though in Governor Kelly's plan, it does eventually call for the reopening of swimming pools. Reporting live in Overland Park, Martin Augustine, KMBC9 News.
Martin, thanks so much. And in Wyandotte County, they are following the Ad Astra plan. It means that county will continue to follow the state's Phase 2 guidelines until at least June 8th. It means that mass gatherings are limited to no more than 15 people. People are encouraged to wear masks in public and maintain social distancing of at least 6 feet. Bars, nightclubs, public swimming pools, and fairs and festivals are still closed. And Governor Kelly vetoed a bill approved by lawmakers that would have required her to get permission from legislators to extend the state of emergency. She also called the legislature back into special session on June 3rd to tackle coronavirus measures. Meanwhile, at 8:04, fallout continues after this video showing a massive pool party at Lake of the Ozarks. It's now prompted both Missouri and Kansas Health Department directors to call for self-quarantine of the attendees. And a doctor at KU Med says that more than just the partiers could be at risk. Dr. Dana Hawkinson says there's a small chance that people who were in the vicinity but not at the parties could be exposed.
We know that this virus can spread with clinical efficiency and is almost hyper-contagious. And so we have to expect that the virus is going to be able to spread easily in that type of situation.
As health officials are weighing in on the Lake of the Ozarks video and talking about self-quarantines, the owner of that business that hosted the party is responding. KMBC9's Matt Evans has a look at what the owner of Backwater Jacks is saying about the party at the center of the viral video. Matt.
Rob, in a statement issued yesterday, the owner of Backwater Jacks is defending his decision and really defending all the decisions that he made over the course of this Memorial Day weekend after we saw those pictures and videos online of people at his establishment that were disregarding public health recommendations, and they were seen by millions of people all across the country. Owner Gary Pruitt maintaining that he broke no laws, saying that it is not a crime to break social distancing guidelines. He also said there were some precautions in place during that pool party, saying medical staff hired by the bar checked temperatures of people at both ends of the pool, and anyone with a fever over 100.4 wasn't allowed inside. Hand sanitizer was also readily available. Pruitt went on to say in that statement, quote, "We understand that there are many emotions and feelings involved on every side of the pandemic situation. For our loyal customers who stand in support, thank you. For our customers we may have lost, thank you for your previous patronage. We hope to win your business back in the future." Pruitt again standing by his decision to go ahead with that pool party over the Memorial Day weekend. He also echoed a previous statement by the Camden County Sheriff's Department that said the people who went to both his establishment and any other businesses or bars at the Lake of the Ozarks this weekend had the right and the responsibility to weigh the risks and make their own decisions before going out in public. Reporting live this morning, Matt Evans, KMBC9 News.
Matt, thanks so much. Well, after restarting production last Monday at the Fort Clay Como plant, some workers are now being asked to self-quarantine. This all comes after an employee tested positive for COVID-19. Production at the plant was temporarily stopped on Tuesday. The company said it closed the transit side of the plant for deep cleaning. Employees who were in close contact with that infected employee were asked to self-quarantine for 14 days. We are tracking the new number of coronavirus cases in the metro area. 84 new cases were reported Tuesday night in the 9-county area. More than half of those new cases are in Kansas City, Missouri, including one new COVID-19 related death. In Missouri, 7.6% of all tests have come back positive. In Kansas, the percentage of tests that are coming back positive is now 6.9%. The World Health Organization is looking for percentages below 10% to ensure adequate testing. Well, 807 and a local company is taking on the challenge to expand contact tracing. Agile Government Services at Overland Park is working to come up with a standardized process. The company says that local counties are doing contact tracing on a volunteer basis. They're also repurposing paid staff to get the job done. Recently posted an opening for a paid contract tracer. 800 people apply within 4 days. If you're interested, you can head to agilegovernmentservicesinc.com. And Apple and Google are also working to develop new contact tracing apps, but what could that mean for your privacy? Our Chief National Consumer Correspondent Jeff Rawson will look into that tonight on Rawson Reports. And more help could be coming for small businesses. Jared Hill is in our Washington Bureau with a closer look at what's happening on Capitol Hill today.
So the focus at this point is changing the aid for small businesses. The House is set to use a new remote voting system to make that happen and also to comply with social distancing. But a lawsuit from Republicans may try and block that. They filed that suit against Speaker Pelosi last night, calling the vote by proxy system unconstitutional, arguing it gives too much power to too few people. This would be used to vote on some changes to the payroll protection program, giving small businesses more time to spend the money and more flexibility on how it can be used. As far as future aid goes, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell isn't interested in the House's $3 trillion package, but he's also not ruling out more help.
There's still a likelihood that more will be needed. In my view, it ought to be very carefully targeted.
Republicans are reportedly considering a bonus for unemployed people who go back to their jobs as a way to replace that $600 per week jobless benefit. It's something that the White House apparently is also at least somewhat interested in. Reporting in Washington, I'm Jared Hill.